right, this is the tape for the election of 2020, and what I want to talk about is how many votes were cast, the winner, how much money was spent, that sort of thing. So let's get into it right now. There was 158 million votes cast in the election of 2020, with 100 million of them cast before Election Day. And that's, first of all, the greatest number of votes ever cast in an American election. But in a certain sense, you'd expect that because the population has grown over time. The 100 million votes cast before Election Day is highly unusual. And that's due to the pandemic and the fact that the Democratic Party worked really hard to get its voters to participate in early voting. The highest percentage turnout for an election was this year. It was 66.1% of the voters turned out. The highest percentage in 120 years. You have to go back to the election of 1900 to see an election where there was a higher turnout. This was a pretty amazing election. Now, what I want to go through is how many votes did each side get and who won. Okay, so got my magic whiteboard here, and Donald Trump received 74,223,744 popular votes. Those are the votes of the American people. That works out to be 232 electoral college votes, which is what Hillary Clinton received 4 years ago. So Trump got 232 electoral college votes. He ended up with 46.9% of the vote. All right. He won 25 states. Remember, the election is decided by the Electoral College. To win, you need 270 votes. Donald Trump got 232. And the Electoral College really is about the states. You focus in on the states, basically trying to win as many states as you can. And he won 25 states. He won half of the states. Okay, Joe Biden, by the way, 4 years ago, in the election of 2016, Donald Trump won 30 states. This time he only won 25. So in the election of 2020, Joe Biden received, let's do this in the correct order, 81 million votes. 81,283,485 votes. He ended up with 306 electoral college votes. And he received 51.4% of the popular vote. And he ended up with 25 states plus the District of Columbia. Okay? So, a couple things. Number one, Donald Trump makes a big deal about the fact that he got 75 million votes. He goes, what about my 75 million voters? Number one, he didn't get 75 million. He got 74 million. This is the greatest number of votes ever received by a president running for re-election. Barack Obama never got that many votes. This is a huge number. But the problem for President Trump is that Joe Biden got even more. Nobody has ever got more than 70 million votes or so. Joe Biden got 81 million votes. This 306 electoral college votes that Biden got, that's what Donald Trump got 4 years ago. Remember, Trump got 30 states last time. Now he got 25. Biden got 25. Hillary Clinton only got 20. 51.4%. It is highly unusual in the last 40 years for any president to get a majority of the votes. We've always had third-party candidates that have done, get 2 and 3%. This time the third-party candidates didn't even get 1%. And so what we've got here is Joe Biden actually getting the majority of the votes in this country. Highly, highly unusual. So here we have the election results. Joe Biden won the popular vote and he won the Electoral College vote. And as I said many times in class, there is no evidence of fraud. There is no evidence of fraud. The FBI director testified to that effect. The head of the Department of Justice, the Attorney General for the United States, who was appointed by Donald Trump, he testified to the same thing as well. There is no evidence of fraud. Joe Biden won this election fair and square. Now, what I have to do is I have to erase this board, and then what we're going to put up are how much money the candidates spent. So, bear with me for a second while I do that. Okay, so here we go. Trump. How much did President Trump spend in this election? He spent $1,085,745,000. He spent a little bit more than $1 billion. That's an incredible amount of money. Remember that when he won the presidency 4 years ago, he only spent about $300 million. So he spent 3 times as much this election year and won less states. Okay? The Trump campaign made a big mistake in this election. They spent money like crazy early in the process. So when it came near the end, they ran out of money. Their campaign chair, who took over, took a cut in pay. They quit advertising in some states simply because they didn't have enough money. Yet they spent $1 billion. They just didn't spend it smartly. Okay, Joe Biden. He raised and spent $1,622,992,000 in this election. That's an incredible amount of money. Barack Obama, running for re-election in 2012, spent $1 billion. Hillary Clinton, running for the presidency in 2016 against Donald Trump, spent about $600 million. And I told you 4 years ago, Donald Trump spent $300 million. Joe Biden comes along, the greatest fundraiser ever, and he raised $1.6 billion. That's an incredible amount of money. As a consequence, he had money to throw at states, advertise like crazy using Facebook, using social media, TV, radio, internet ads. Biden had it all because he had the money to do it. Okay? He outraised Donald Trump. So, there you go. That is the presidential election. Let's quickly now do the House and the Senate. The House of Representatives, the Democrats are the majority. The Democrats have 221 seats. The Republicans have 211 seats. There's 435 seats in the House of Representatives, but we've had a couple of deaths. We've had some vacancies. So as a consequence, we're missing a couple of people. But the Democrats are the majority in the House of Representatives. And so therefore they get to elect the Speaker. It's one of their own. It's Nancy Pelosi. She is in charge of the House of Representatives. She's number 3 in line for the presidency. President dies, the vice president takes over. Vice president dies, the Speaker of the House takes over. So that is Nancy Pelosi. And she is from the great state of California. She's from San Francisco. Okay, she is the Speaker of the House and a Democrat. Democrats run things. Senate, little different story. Senate, there are Republicans, 50 Republicans won. There are, on the Democrat side, we have to be honest, there are 48 Democrats plus 2 independents. Those 2 independents are, believe it or not, Bernie Sanders. He's one of them. And another senator, Angus King. Both of them are Democrats. They just are registered as independents. Bernie Sanders never been registered as a Democrat in his life. So those 2 independents vote with the Democrats. So what we have, in essence, are 50 Democrats and 50 Republicans, which is a tie. Who wins? Turns out very simple. The Democrats do, because in the event of a tie, the vice president casts the tie-breaking vote. And the vice president, of course, is Kamala Harris. She, former senator from California, and she is a Democrat. So the Democrats control things. Their leader is Chuck Schumer, Schumer. Chuck Schumer is their leader. He is the majority leader in the U.S. Senate. Okay, so here is the election results. The Democrats control the presidency, they control the House of Representatives, and they barely control the Senate. All right, more later.